Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at creating a show jumping course plan to scale. So to begin, we need ideally some graph paper, which is great, a scale ruler, which we're using the 1 to 400 meter increment or measurement. So this is really 1 meter is 400 times in reality. So we've got here, you can see the 1 meter is every like centimeter, I suppose, or, equivalent on this style, and it goes up to 120 meters. Okay, so this is, as I say, commonly used for site plans in industries, and when we're doing this, making sure that you're not accidentally going on to one of the other measurements because it will change things dramatically. So to begin, we also need to have a draft plan to be able to, so this is what we're going to transfer onto into scale. This draft plan, very simple course with 9 obstacles and a combination. So we're just kind of keeping things simple. We're going to use a size of the arena 90 by 50. So that's a rectangle, which is similar to the style of our plan as well. The other thing that you can have on hand is a table of distances or useful conversions that can be helpful when you are working out your distances and things as well. So here to start with, I'm going to draw my arena. That's the first step. So we're going 90 centimeters, and on the graph paper is great because it makes it very easy. And we're doing our 50 across. Oh, sorry, got a bit over excited there. And down the long side. Okay, and here on the base. So once we have the arena mapped out there, and it can be useful to put 50 meters and the 90 meters, or you can do 90 by 50. Also put on here the scale that you're using. That can be useful down the bottom. Just, if someone picks this up, they might wonder how you've measured it all. The other thing I like to do, because this is what you do the arena to set it up, is putting the 5 meter increments so down the long side. So we're going, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Let's see. Here we are. 75, 80. 85, 90. Okay, so I've done the increments down alongside. That can be handy when we are putting the jump or putting our plan together. I just do that on the other side. And also when you're setting it up, this is where it plays a pretty important role as well. Because the whole purpose is that when you set up on the arena, you actually put those little tape or measurements at the 5 meter increments on the sides of the arena, and that then helps you to be able to implement this accurately on your course. So I do this on this end as well, this one, and there we are. Now, the other thing, obviously, the other details, the event, the article number we need, which the length on course, the time on course, and the distance. Obviously, that information needs to be put on the plan. But this one, so here we're also putting the in and out gate. So here it'll be here. So we do that with an arrow. And put in and out. If it's the same place, if there might be a different exit from the entry, so make sure you detail that. The riders actually need that information, and they also need to know where the judge is located to present, or the judge jury, to present when they come into the arena. So that information needs to be on the plan as well. So the other, how I also start to transfer, so the width of the jumps. So our rails are normally 3 to 3.6 meters, but here we also need to include the wings, and so we generally allow 5 meters for the wings and the jump in on our plan. Now, if you've got wings that are maybe feature wings and they're a lot longer than the standard, then you would allow a little bit more, to keep it in context. The other thing I'm making allowance for, I always have at least 3 to 5 meters off the wall, so riders can go around the jumps, but also, particularly with novice classes, sometimes you can get a lot of activity on the sidelines, and we don't want that to be too distracting or impact the jump for a rider and horse combination. So, and I'm going to put that. And the other thing to note, if you are using your graph paper, you can know that this one is each square on this one, according to mine, is 2 meters. So that's great. So I can use that as a rough guide as well. Now, here I'm also noting on this plan, on my original plan, I've actually noted the halfway point. This can actually give me a little bit of context about approximately where my first fence is located. And so here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So this is our halfway point here. And so then when I'm locating that first jump, it kind of gives me a bit of scope of where to put it. It's about up here. And I've got that about 5 meters off the wall. Okay, so I'm just putting it just about there, 5 meters off the wall, 5 meter jump. There we are. And so initially, it's important just to kind of get the scope of where your jumps are located. Actually, I'll probably just put this. The other thing you can do, which if you are able to, actually, and I'll just align this a bit better, is actually align it with if you can, this makes life a lot easier, your 5 meter mark there. And so what happens there is, so that's aligned with the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that can make things a lot easier to set up. That's also, we also want if we're coming in this direction, we want at least 5 strides off the wall for the approach. So, because it is a novice class. So that also helps to complement that as well. So then we're going on to our second jump here on my plan. I'm just going to put that there. Oops, did I make that 2? No. And then our third jump, I've got around here. There we are. And I can put that out as an oxa there anyway. There we are. And then we've got our fourth jump. There we are, 5 meters, 5 meters. As I say, you don't have to do your spreads. You can put your spreads in later, particularly until you get your flow of the course. That's particularly important to have that flow. That's your fundamental part of setting your course, is to make sure you've got that flow up. There we are. Now here again, I might put this aligned with 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. As I say, and that. There we are. Now this is a combination. So I'm going to also set this up with this combination as a 1 stride. So that's 7.3 meters. So I've set this up 7.3 meters. There we are. Okay. So, and then our last jump is over here somewhere. And the other point to consider, so I've got my last jump. And I want to make sure when I am doing these jumps towards the wall, particularly, that I've got sufficient room, for the horse to land and keep balanced and canter away and go through the turn. This one's actually just under nearly 20 meters from landing, so that's just under, that'll be nearly 5 canter strides. So that's good. So here we are. We've got our jump set up. We've actually marked our oxes as well, so that's handy. I want to just check that that's got a good flow. We want to make sure we've got a nice 20 meter, at least 20 meter diameters from one jump to the next through the turn. If they're on a like half circle type turn, onto the next and then around. Yeah, so you keep that flow. That's it. Even here, that's going to have a little turn. Yep, onto there and around. So then what we can do now is put our start and finish in. Now we're making sure our start and finish aren't going to interfere with any of the track of the course. And also that the start and finish, this is Australian rules, that they are at least 6 meters from the first fence or after the last fence, a minimum of 6 meters, but not exceeding 15. So here I'm going to put my start across here, and I can see this is about there. That's about the 6 meter minimum, and I'll just put it across here, and that way then, and I'll just mark that with an S for start, and then the finish I'll do the same, have it at least, so I can have that, and it. There we are. An F for finish. Now we can actually label them. So we're actually labeling these on the right-hand side, and the riders in the direction that they're, going. That's all right. Cool. Fun. So here I've got, number 2. So, funnily, so 2 and then around to 3. So then the riders know it's on the right hand side in the direction to be jumped. And then 4. If you're like me, you almost need to turn it around like a map. And 7A, 7B, and I did measure that 7.3 meters. I need to detail that here. If the 3 to 4, that's actually not considered a related line. That's about 38 meters, which is probably nearly over maybe like 9 strides. So anything over 7 strides. So related distances are between 3 and 7 strides. So anything over that we don't is not classed as a related line. So that's fine. And then this one's 8. Now, the next step we also need to do, because this plan, obviously anyone can pick this up in helping with the setup and set this up. So we need to detail the height of the rails and also the spread distances. So on the left-hand side, we'll put that information. So here, number 1, I'm going to make this a rising oxer. This class, we're just going to keep it simple, like it'll be, say it's an 80 centimeter class. So we're going to go 75 for the first, and we'll put a slash, and then we'll put 80 centimeters for the back rail, and then we times it by, and I'm just making it the same width, 80 centimeters. So we times it by, and that's the width. Then the second jump, that's just a vertical, so we'll just make it 80. Third jump's a spread. We're going to make this a square or parallel oxer. So the front is the same as the back rail, and then we times that by 80. We'll still make it the same width. We're keeping this extremely straightforward and simple. Again, 4 is a vertical, so just 80. 5 is the spread, so we're doing 80 slash 80 times 80. And then 6 is a vertical, so just 80. 7 is an oxer. We'll make it again 80 80 slash 80 times 80, and the vertical 80, and then the last fence, make that 80. Okay, so now we have all the essential information. The other point, we also note the direction that the jump's going to be jumped. So we can put an arrow. The other thing you can do is a continuous line around to show the track. And that can be useful in novice classes, say if it's an ideal time or something like that. That can be quite useful of where you've measured the course, so that can be handy. And we're doing that, and there we are. And there we are. Handy with these arrows. Makes straight lines so much easier. And there's a finish. So that is our basic concept of setting our jumps to scale. And you can see now in the arena, then we put some tape at these 5 meter increments on the arena side. If it's bunting and that's tricky, then just even you can use like witches' hats or little markers or something, or even some spray paint. Some just marking paint, the spray paint that builders use, and that you can put on the sand just on the arena wall. That can be the other way to do it. And so just get creative in that respect. So then we've got the 5 meter increments, and then you can see here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. At the 30 mark, that's where our first rail is for jump 1. And you can see off the wall, we know that that's 5 meters off the wall. So that way then anyone can basically set that jump up accurately and in proportion to where it should be on the plan. Then we know that also we've got our distance is about 10 meters between fence 1 to the wing of fence 2. And fence 2 is that wing is positioned about halfway, or say 2.5 meters in front of fence 1. It's on an angle, and it goes. The other part is just really almost in alignment with the 25 meter mark. And then fence 3 is about 10 meters from wing to wing. That is between the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, between the 25 and 30 mark. The other thing, we know that from the edge that it's 10 meters off that the edge of the wing there is 10 meters off the wall. We know that as 7A as well is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So the front rail of 7A is at the 40 meter mark, and that it's 5 meters off the wall. So this really helps with getting some accuracy around then transferring our plan design to the arena. This is really good too. If you get delayed or something, then your team can start setting up. Or what can happen as well, you have a very small arena to work in, then you can actually make sure that the plan that you're designing will work in the space that you've got to work with. That's where the scale plans can be very, very handy. Anyway, enjoy, have a go, and practice does make perfect. Thank you.